Kufre, a tall, dark man in his mid-40s, sat hunched in front of his run-down one-room apartment. His shoulders slumped and his head hung low, weighed down by despair. It had been 18 years since his university graduation, yet life seemed to mock him at every turn. No job, no family, no home to call his own. He stared blankly at the empty beer bottle in his hands before draining the last bitter drops. A breeze rustled the tattered curtains behind him as he staggered to his feet. His movements were slow, his limbs reluctant. With shaky hands, he buttoned his worn-out shirt, slipped on his faded trousers, and shuffled towards the neighborhood beer parlor, also known as Tap Out, where solace came in the form of cheap liquor and friends. As Kufre approached the lively shack, voices boomed out to greet him. "Ke Baba! Ke Baba! Where have you been?" called out Clifford, his best friend, slapping him on the back. The other men cheered and raised their glasses in a welcome toast. "Buy me food," Kufre muttered, his voice barely audible. The crowd laughed and instead shoved a bottle of beer into his hands. Kufre drank with abandon, as though the liquid could fill the void inside of him. But hunger gnawed at his stomach, the pain sharper than his misery. Later that night, as Kufre and Clifford stumbled home, Kufre groaned. "Clifford, I'm starving. I could eat almost anything." Clifford laughed, his breath heavy with alcohol. "Why don't you try Gogo River? They say people leave food there for the spirits. Maybe you'll be lucky to find jollof rice and chicken waiting for you." Kufre laughed, but the idea burrowed into his thoughts like a worm. That night, he tossed and turned in his tiny room, staring at the ceiling. What if it's true? Desperation made the wild idea seem possible. At dawn, he made up his mind he would go to the river. The next morning, Kufre arrived at Gogo River. The water sparkled under the first rays of sunlight. Its surface was clean and clear. The air carried a mouth-watering aroma. Turning towards the scent, Kufre spotted a casserole dish of hot jollof rice and chicken. His stomach growled ferociously. Without a second thought, he sat by the riverbank and devoured the meal. Halfway through, a soft sobbing broke the silence. Kufre froze, his mouth full. He looked up. A beautiful woman with smooth dark skin and brown sorrowful eyes stood a short distance away, her thin dress fluttering in the breeze. Moved by her vulnerability, Kufre swallowed hard and approached her. "Are you all right? Why are you crying?" "You're eating my food," she whispered, her voice trembling. Kufre's heart sank. "I'm so sorry, please. Take the rest. I didn't mean to." The woman raised her tear-streaked face, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips. "What is your name?" she asked. "Kufre." "Kufre," she repeated. her voice suddenly steady. Your kindness has earned you one wish. Ask for anything and it shall be yours. Kufre hesitated. Could this frail sad woman truly grant wishes? Still, hope flickered within him. I want money, he blurted out. Enough to never be called a drunk again. The woman's eyes shone and her smile widened. Granted, but there is a condition. Whenever you hear the sky drum, you must dance. Do so, and your wealth will never run dry. Kufre nodded eagerly, his doubts evaporating. What is your name? Leila, she replied. I am the spirit of Gogo River. And with that, she vanished into the air. Back in his room, Kufre gasped when he came in. He saw a large overflowing bag of money waiting for him. He laughed so hard, pinched himself to be sure he wasn't dreaming, and then began laughing again. Then he started making plans. Soon, Kufre was unrecognizable. The once ragged, drunk man became a wealthy, flamboyant man. He became very handsome too, surrounded by luxury, cars, houses, and women because of his newfound status. Every time the mysterious sky drum played, Kufre would drop whatever he was doing and dance with wild abandon. Onlookers dismissed it as a sign of excitement. They saw it as a sign of newfound happiness, but Kufre knew it was his lifeline. Each dance brought another bag of money. Very soon, his story spread far and wide. Clifford, his friend, became suspicious, no longer content with vague answers about Kufre's riches. Clifford devised a plan. He arranged a grand party in Kufre's honor, ensuring the drinks flowed endlessly. Everyone who came to the party had enough to eat and drink. Amidst the festivities, Clifford whispered to the bartender, "Keep him drinking. Tonight, we'll get the truth out of him." As the night wore on, Kufre became heavily intoxicated. He was so drunk, his words were slurring. Slumping in his chair, he barely noticed when Clifford leaned in on him. "K Baba," Clifford said. "K Baba, open your eyes. Your wealth is like magic. It can't come so easily, and I know it can never run dry. Or can it?" Kufre's head suddenly turned. He looked at Clifford and he said, "Clifford," still in his drunken state. He smiled and he looked at his friend again, saying, "Clifford, my wealth flows like the Gogo River. It can never run dry. Leila promised me it will never run dry." The room fell silent as Clifford's face lit with triumph. But at that moment, the sky drum began to play. The haunting rhythm echoed through the night. For the first time, Kufre was too drunk to move. He couldn't even lift a finger, let alone dance. The next morning, Kufre awoke with a pounding headache, a sign of what he did last night. He stumbled to his bedroom, expecting to find the usual bag of money, but the room was empty. He started to panic. He held onto his chest. His heart pounded so loudly as if it was going to rip out of it. Kufre ran down to the river. He didn't even remember to lock the door. On getting to the river, he met the river dry. Nothing but cracked earth where water once flowed. Layla appeared before him, her face stern and angry. "You broke your promise, Kufre. You have lost everything. Kufre, from now on, you will know nothing but poverty." Kufre dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Please, Layla, give me another chance." But Layla disappeared without a word, leaving him alone with his despair. Word of Kufre's downfall spread quickly like wildfire. Friends vanished, and even Clifford avoided him, ashamed of his role in the tragedy of his friend. Kufre, once the toast of the town, became an outcast. As he sat in front of his crumbling home, staring at the empty bottle in his hand, Kufre whispered to himself, "Contentment is key. Greed is a curse." Thank you so much for listening. If you want to know more about the life of Kufre, subscribe. Click on the notification bell icon, and I'll be back with more stories. Bye.